Hello, everybody. I am Greg Anderson, and I'm sorry I'm not there today. On my way to a funeral right now, so I recorded this ahead of time. So here we go. So my reading strategy was on visualizing things as you read. Obviously, I think we can think of how that could be very beneficial to ML students. Very easily. I was going to have you guys kind of like close your eyes and kind of read through this, but you guys can close your eyes if you want or not. It's probably not as easy if I'm not there. But anyway, imagine you're reading the book and suddenly a movie starts playing in your head, right? That's kind of the whole point of visualizing is you're kind of seeing the things that you're reading. And as adults, we're kind of pros at this. We already know how to do that, and we do it all the time as adults. Like, just think of like when you're going to work, like you kind of imagine like going different routes, right? When you do that, you're actually visualizing the different roads and imagining like, this road's probably just slammed full of cars right now. I don't want to go that way. I'm going to go this way, where I'm imagining a nice empty street. And that's something we do when we're reading books or reading in general. Is like our minds are trying to visualize all these words and stuff and associate them with this mental picture. And research shows that mental imagery enhances our comprehension, which is kind of the key thing with this reading strategy. Is we're trying to increase students' comprehension of the words they are reading, especially our ML students. A lot of times they're probably thinking of like whatever their home language word is that, and they're not getting that mental picture, that comprehension, because they've got all these different filters that they're going through to get there. So if we can like emphasize that mental image, that could be really good. So again, the idea with visualizing is that you're actually, picturing these colors, these shapes, these sounds, and having the students create those mental images, because that will help them understand and comprehend this material so much better. So we need to give them opportunities to read this rich writing and then stimulate their ability to create those vivid mental pictures. So we have to give them those opportunities to read, but also give them that opportunity to have them actually create those mental images. So I have some activities that we could use in our classes that could help. And some of these activities are probably more general, or not general, but like more targeted towards a younger child, for example. Some might be good for all ages. And honestly, like as a middle school teacher, I can tell you like, those middle schoolers, they don't really mind doing some elementary work every now. It's amazing how much they still care about those gold stars in middle school. Okay, so here's some activities that I've come up with. So categories. So this is where you give a student with a grid with some categories already written on there and have them draw a picture of something in that category. So, I mean, you could fit this in all sorts of assignments, right? Just general different categories for like your basic readers. But then when you get into higher grades and stuff, you can get into more specific categories or whatever. Like if you're reading a book, like what happens to these characters or like this situation or like this part of the chapter, like where you can actually like break it down to more specifics and have them draw a picture of each different thing, right? Or like, again, they do it all the time in science, but all the different stages of photosynthesis and stuff like that. That would be something that would kind of fit these category things. So again, like you can do it more specifically or more generally, but it's basically having students draw a picture that fits a certain category or section or piece of information that you want to. Draw a picture is just a more general approach. So that's when, and I think this is probably a good one for MLs especially, is like, yeah, we just read this little short text here, right? But what did you get out of it? What did you picture in your head? Like have them draw a picture of their understanding. And it's good for a couple of ways. It kind of forces them to actually try to think of an image of what just happened, but also gives you an idea of their comprehension level. So hopefully you don't get like a stick figure with a bunch of like little question marks surrounding it, or the infamous IDK. Like, ugh, I can't tell you how much I love IDK on my math tests like that I give them. It's the favorite thing I can see, IDK. Anyway. And here's probably my favorite one is acting it out. So after reading a text or something, like have them actually act out what they just read. So they're actually visualizing the action part of it too, where they actually like are doing it. And it's amazing how much this gets students engaged. When I taught language arts and we were doing Romeo and Juliet, those ninth grade boys, they would love to read if they got to get up in front of the class with their little like pretend sword and, act out that those scenes out. I mean, just the fact that they got to be up there with that pretend sword, they loved it. But then they were also looking specifically for any kind of action or part of the scene that they could then use that pretend sword or do some kind of action. They loved that so much. Even though Shakespeare, is not their favorite to read, but the fact that they got to act it out like that increased their engagement and their love of it significantly. And then another good one is just a general match. And I think this is probably good for like your basic readers, but it's also really good for ML students. And when they're trying to acquire that academic language, right? Like if I put the word asymptote on there, which my English speaking students will look at me and be like, what did you just say? Asymptote? What the? But like then I could like have a picture of like a curved graph and like have them match it up and associate that, because it's so hard for them to connect that word with what it actually represents. Like they don't understand. And for you guys that probably don't understand either, asymptote is actually the flat part of a curved line. It's never quite flat actually. It looks like it's flat because it's fractions. Anyway. There's your little math lesson for today. Anyway, so these are some activities. I think they could be fun, and I think more importantly, I think it would help them help stimulate that mental picture of whatever you're trying to do. Obviously, there's all sorts of things more you could do, like just anything that you can put your students in a position where they actually have to visualize the words that you just said that to them will increase their comprehension. And hopefully their ability to retain that information as well. Anyway, that's my little spiel there. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Let's see if I can end this now. We'll just do this. Stop.